Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Happy Wednesday. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are joining me from, or I should say, wherever you're joining us from. I will welcome you to Real Beauty Talk. Today is an awesome day, in spite of all the challenges. Whenever we're going to have a fabulous conversation, there's always challenges. But guess what? We're here. We're ready to have a great conversation that's going to definitely inspire you, motivate you, and help you to, make those decisions that you need to make to inspire, to transform your life, because this is what Real Beauty Talk is all about. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Paulla D'Souza. I have been in the beauty industry as a makeup artist for over 20 years. And I also love having great conversations. And what I do is beyond makeup. I use the opportunity to, help women that I work with to either connect or reconnect with their inner beauty. And through these conversations, my intention is to, we all go through this season of doubts. We need encouragement. And I think gone are the days when we only look to celebrities to level up our lives with. We have so many people who are the girl next door or the guy next door that is doing exceptionally well. And my intention is to have these conversations so I could pick everyone's brain to find out, okay, how are you navigating these different challenges? Because most of the times when people share, they only share about the wins. When you look on social media, everybody's lives look so perfect and they make success look like if it's a walk in the park. But I can tell you from my own experience, that's not how it is. We have challenges that we navigate behind the scene. And I was really blessed to meet this beautiful human being, and I'm going to introduce you guys to. I haven't met her in person, but we do feel as though we know each other for a very, very long time. And I will bring her on so we could jump right into having the conversation. So, this is what I want you guys to do for me. As you know, it's not us just having a conversation. I want to include everyone. So, if you can share your thoughts, your comments, your wins, your whatever it is we're talking about. Share your 2 cents. So let's have a real conversation that, if somebody in the future is going to pop by this video at some point, they should be able to scroll through the comments and get something from the conversation other than from myself or from my guests. So without further ado, let me bring Heather on. Also, please like and share. If you have any friends that you know that will benefit from this, please invite them. It's not too late. Grab something to drink. Well, for now, I'm having water. So grab a glass of something. Let's sip and let's chat and let's have some fun. So I'm going to bring Heather on. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, Paula.
How
Hello to
are you?
everybody.
You
I'm
look
great. Just feeling a bit
awesome.
hot and sweaty, but I'm
Oh my
great
gosh.
otherwise.
So I know you're using your phone. Is did
For
you
now, I'm trying to get some help. So, for the time being, yes.
okay? Are you able to put your phone on something so you don't have to hold it in your hand?
Um, no, I don't have something at the moment. I was completely caught off guard. I wasn't supposed to be using my phone in the
Well,
first place.
well, guess what? I'm grateful that you are still on because today basically is one of those days, and I'm not even surprised because we had a scheduled power outage in my neighborhood, right? And the power usually comes back on time, but today it came on a whole hour early. So it
Oh,
was scheduled from 9 to
oh,
5 o'clock, and by four p.m. it was on. I was like, oh my
that's a
god.
surprise.
Yes, I give thanks. I mean, they're usually not tardy in the area because of the area that I live in. So if they say five, maybe 10 minutes later or so, but it was on the button. So now
That's
I'm all
great.
prepared and I'm all set on your end. You're having challenges. So that's how it goes. That's
And
how we.
Paula, I had my laptop set up since about 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
And
That's how.
like minutes after 5, I started having issues.
That's how Murphy Law goes. But guess what? We are going to go straight into this. And
Yes.
what I'm going to do is I have on my makeup, but I didn't put my lips. So while we're talking, people always want to get a little makeup tips. So while we're having a chat, I'm going to apply some lipstick. And I love that we're showing off our shoulders, our gorgeous,
Oh,
youthful shoulders and our neck.
that's my latest thing. I don't want anything that's closed up or no, has to be off the shoulder.
You look fabulous, and the green is
Thank
awesome
you.
on you. So, thank you so very much for accepting my invitation. And we
Listen,
have
my love.
somebody here who is from who's all the way in the UK. Hi, Sheila Hodgkinson.
Ah, that's my
I guess
sister.
this is your oh yeah, little sister. Welcome. Thank you. I mean, it's really late. We so appreciate that you joined. So Heather, without further ado,
Mhm.
in 60 seconds, tell us who Heather Doram is. And also in that 60 seconds, describe your personality for us.
Heather Doram is a very dynamic, powerful, strong, independent. I think I am fabulous. I'm exciting. I like change. I like to be dynamic. I am very artistic and very talented.
Ooh,
So,
I
Heather Durham is a visual artist.
mm-hmm.
I'm also an actress. I do some radio and television. I hosted a show on radio.
Mm-hmm.
I act both in the movies, in television series, and on stage. I have a master's degree in fine arts. I am also an educator. That's another passion of mine. I was a teacher for over 30 years, teaching the
Awesome.
visual arts
Right.
and a whole lot of other things.
I know. Oh my God, you're indeed very dynamic. So, what is one thing that about yourself that you're most proud of?
I think I am proud of the woman that I have become
Uh
because
huh.
I didn't start out the way that I am at present.
All right, great. Well,
And
we're gonna go there
I
in a
had
little while. We're gonna go there in a little while. Don't fast forward the conversation yet.
okay, okay, sorry.
That's okay. So, what you're most proud of is a woman that you have become. I want to touch
Yes.
a little bit on passion and purpose because I know, as a matter of fact, I only recently discovered, even though it maybe was hanging out at the back of my mind, but I really discovered there's still a lot of people who have not really connected with their passion and their purpose. Would you say that you are walking in your purpose and you've discovered your passion? And I kind of want to, I don't even know if there's like a formula to it, but I don't know
Mhm,
if you would have discovered something along the line so that we can help those, especially younger
mhm,
ones, still
mhm,
trying to figure out exactly what their passion is and what their
mhm.
purpose is. So tell us about that.
Yeah, anybody, I'm sure any young lady who has ever heard me speak on any sort of forum, and they're in Antigua, they would have
Mhm.
heard Heather Durham speaking about finding your passion and your
Yes.
purpose. It's something I've spoke because nobody told me about it. Nobody told me that there was such a thing. I just found it out for myself.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's just through discovery, exploration and discovery of myself and doing
Mm-hmm.
a lot of introspection and a lot of thinking about
Mm-hmm.
life and the reason why we are here on this earth. And to me, the reason just couldn't be to get married, have children. I just said that cannot be it. And I also focus on women. What is it that us women really need to be happy? Because growing up, I'm talking about the generation of my mom and my father. I
Right.
saw from very keen observation, I used to look at what's going on around me. And I saw a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who looked unhappy. They never said a word to me, but they
Right.
generally, as an individual or as couples, I would see them
Mm-hmm.
driving in the car. I would see no look, no passion, no. conversation going on between them. And in my mind, I'm just saying, these people look so unhappy. And I said, my life is certainly not going to be, I don't want my life when I grow up to be like that.
Yes.
And a lot of the introspection, I got married at 21, but a lot of the
Wow.
introspection for me took place not when I was at home with the husband and the children, but it took me to get away.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time was when I went to school in Jamaica. I spent 3 years away from my family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just did really lots of thinking about what I would like to see, what I would like to happen in my life once I returned home.
Right.
And then the second time, which was even bigger than that time I spent in Jamaica, was when
Mm-hmm.
I traveled to Savannah College of Art and Design in the US to do my master's.
Mm-hmm.
That I think it had a lot to do with the reading, that the prescribed reading that we had to do, and the fact that I was by myself. I had a roommate, but she had a part-time job, so I was by myself for quite a lot of the time. And in a lot of that time by myself, I was doing my schoolwork. I was sitting there at the sewing machine or whatever, because I did textiles, and my mind would just be turning over and over and over. And I read something and it just stuck in my mind forever. The
Mm-hmm.
question was asked, when you are on your deathbed, how many of us, and I'm speaking to women specifically because I'm just always focused on us as women. When
Yes.
you are on your deathbed, lying down, and you're just about to have your last breaths, can you look back, cast your eye back over your life, and just take a deep breath and said, wow, I am so happy. I have lived the life. I have fulfilled all my dreams, my passions. I have fulfilled all of them. I am happy with the family I have, with the friends I had, with all the things that I have achieved. And you can breathe this deep sigh and you can go. How
Yeah.
many of us can really do that? I get the impression that there's a lot of regret going on. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
regret going on in the end, in our latter years.
Yes.
And I also think it's something that we put on ourselves. A lot of it happens because of how we were socialized, one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And two, it's something that we have embraced, like a way of living, like this is the way we have to be as women. We have to work ourselves to the bone. And the only purpose we have in life is to take care of the husband, take care of a house, making sure the house is spotless, making sure the kids are going off. And at the end of it, you are there like, hmm, kids going
Yes.
off. What have I achieved? Why am
Yeah.
I feeling so unfulfilled? Why am
Mm-hmm.
I feeling so unhappy? And
Mm-hmm.
I decided that that wasn't going to be me.
Right. So, in a nutshell, you think that you started to discover who you are as a person and your purpose when you were away from home.
Because at that point in time, I looked back over the life that I had lived so far. When I went to Jamaica, I was in my 30s. Yes.
Okay.
I looked back over my life and I realized that I was kind of living a robotic type of life. It was
Yes. Yes.
kind of
Yes.
robotic. You're just
Yes.
doing these duties like,
Mundane. Yeah.
yes, your mom taught you all these things. You have to wash and cook and clean. And I'm there saying, everybody else seems pretty happy, but I just wasn't feeling like, what is it I really ever dreamt of doing with my life that any part of it was being fulfilled? So a
Right.
part of that was going off to study in my area, that I wanted to just explore a bit more the visual
Mm-hmm.
art,
Right.
because I never wanted to do anything else with my life but the visual arts. But
Right.
with a husband and small children, you get very little time, and teaching full time, you
Right.
got very little time to be able to pursue any of that.
Right. So you're going to answer it's like it's almost like I don't have to say anything because you're just going really smoothly into my next question. Because right after that, the thought comes to mind to ask you, was it really difficult for you to go off? Um, in terms of like, because that at that time you're balancing a marriage and you're balancing motherhood as well as you're balancing a career as a teacher. So
Yep.
how difficult was that decision for you, and what role did your husband, your partner, play? Because to me, from I mean, I don't know you personally, but I think I have this concept in my head that there's a huge difference between a husband as a husband, but there's a different scenario when you have a life partner who understand how to support your goals and your dreams and your
Hmm.
vision. So what was that conversation like between you and your life partner? That's how I refer to him as.
Okay, let me see now. So he knew that I wanted to go off and study. He knew I was
Mm-hmm.
applying for a scholarship. So I got the scholarship. On his part, I don't think it was like holding me back or I shouldn't go. I think it was more on my part that I had two children who were, I think, probably like 8 and 11. They
Right.
were in primary school. And on the other hand, I would have like my mom, especially, who was,
Mm-hmm.
saying like, "Are you really going to go off and leave your husband?" And that kind of dissuading kind of talk. And
Yes, yes, yes.
but the thing in me, the fire in me, was a bit more than that. And I thought that I am going to change this
Trajectory.
yes, this whole trajectory, and also this way that we have here about, a man wants to go off and do whatever he wants to do, he just does it. The
Mm-hmm.
woman just wait there and support him until when he gets back. I kind of felt like I was going to be a pioneer in that respect, because not many women would be doing that at that time, in
Right.
the time when I decided to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I convinced myself that there was enough support around
Mm-hmm.
my partner and my children, and
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't the first and I wasn't going to be the last woman to ever do that and pursue what she wanted to do.
Right.
So I said that for me, I needed to do that. And I also felt that me being able to do that
Uh-huh.
would work out beneficial for all of us and our lives going
Yes.
forward.
Yes, because you will
And
be much happier too.
this is what I keep preaching about, the fact that if I am happy, everybody in the house is going to be happy.
Exactly. Guess what? Our journey, our path is very similar because when I left home, my son was just 4 years old, and that was a tough decision because you know how it goes. You have everybody. Is everything okay there?
Hold on a sec. One sec, Paula. So they're
Sure.
trying to set me up. I hope you don't mind. Okay, I'm on the
No.
on the laptop now. So I want to join from the laptop and switch from this phone.
All right. So click on the link. So we'll just hold
Going
pause a
to
moment.
Messenger. Going to Messenger.
How is everybody doing on the outside while we get
Going to
Heather
Messenger.
situated? And so let me know how your Wednesday is going, how your week is going so far, and how are you guys feeling about the fact that guess what? We're almost to the end of 2021. We just have a few more weeks to go. So what I am going to do is just I'm going to take you out of the studio for now, and then I will wait for you to come back in. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
I'm gonna ad lib. So what you're gonna do? Don't disconnect this until you're connected on the
Okay.
laptop.
Okay. All right.
All right. So I'll give you a few seconds and then I'll come back. So yes, honey bunnies. While Heather is getting herself situated, you know how this thing goes. We want to make sure that we're going to have an amazing conversation and she's comfortable, which is most important. So, what I would love for you guys to do is just hit me in the comments. I'm not seeing any activity. Denise is really tagging her friends, and I appreciate that. But what I would love for you to do is let me know what your thoughts are about what you've heard so far. Has any one of you had to make a sacrifice along the way to help on in terms of like discovering your purpose, discovering your passion, What sacrifices did you have to make? What lessons did you learn along the way? So if you could share that in the comment section, I would really, really, really appreciate it. And also, as we are coming down to the end of 2021, I would love to hear what your thoughts are in terms of like how are you planning to navigate the rest of the year, and are you looking forward to 2022? Oh my gosh, 222, that is absolutely a fabulous number. So hi Gloria, thank you for popping in as usual. I appreciate you being here. What's up? We got a lot of shy people in as our audience today. Nobody's saying anything. So I want to just give Heather a few more minutes so that she can get herself on her laptop and we could continue this great conversation. So Heather, any progress?
No, Paulo, it's the internet. So I just, no, we can't get
Oh,
on. It's not downloaded at all, the Yard stream.
okay. Okay, well, let's just finish it up here because you look amazing and you sound really good. So, what I was about to say, hi, Donna. What I was about to share with you is that when I'm listening to you share, and our paths are very similar. The only difference was I was not married. When I came to Trinidad to pursue my cosmetology diploma, my son was only 4 years old. But I am so grateful that my parents were exceptionally very supportive. They were, so I was able to come off and do my thing. And as you know, we just have a small amount of time to touch on all these amazing topics. And one of the other things that I thought about is, one of the perks of growing older is um, with age comes wisdom. And we get an opportunity to discover, like peel off all these different layers, you know. And what I want to find out from you is what have you learned that you wish you knew in your 20s or your 30s?
Ah, that I had a voice. That's the first thing. That's the first thing, that I had a voice,
Mm-hmm.
and that I didn't have to be the person that I was socialized to be, that I could make changes to
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Um, that you have to do some introspection and find out who you are as an
Mm-hmm.
individual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because at some point in time, I found out I was living who I was socialized to be.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It was like, this is what they taught you to be, the good mother, the good wife. I don't know about your education, but my background was post-colonial British, all British, like principles. And the teachings back then, Paula, was you shut up and be quiet. You do
Ah.
not speak. You do not answer back. So
Mm-hmm.
I found that as a young child growing up, I don't find that I had a voice.
Right.
The other thing is, I found growing up, we didn't speak much about emotions. You
Mm.
were never allowed to say, but I don't feel like doing that. Whatever you were told to do, that is what you're going to do. And
Wow.
those are things that I had to unlearn. I remember the ridiculous things that happened to us as children in school. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting in a classroom, and if the teacher sees your eyeballs looking out of the window, you get an attention. When I look back at those ridiculous times, it's like far removed. It's almost like if it was some form of mental
Oppression.
slavery, oppression. It was really oppression.
Yes.
And coming up now, I into the my adulthood, and having to, especially when I was in the Ministry of Education, and then subsequently I became Director of Culture.
Mm-hmm.
You are in a situation where quite often you are one of the few women in a
Right.
room of males,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't speak up, then you're not going to be heard. Nothing you say is important or whatever. And
Right.
in addition, I had to remember that I wasn't just representing myself at some of these meetings. I was representing my country as well. And
Right.
so I had to find a voice. I had to be able to speak up. I had to be able to stand on my own. And I
Mm-hmm.
made sure that my presence was felt.
Yes.
That when I entered the room, Paul, I don't know about you, but if I go to a function, I notice it's something I observe all the time. Everybody heads from the back row come forward. Guess where I sit?
To the front.
I always head to the seat in front because
Yep.
it's something, I don't know what is it about us that like, is there some animal that is going to jump out at you and bite you or something? I want to be up front. I don't want to miss anything. I
Yes.
want, I just
That's
had
the
to
alpha
make my
female in
mark.
you.
I just had to make my mark because I had
Yeah.
to unlearn a lot of those things that we were socialized that we were supposed to be. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if it's like a Caribbean thing or it's a thing worldwide for where women are concerned. But, it's like the men huffing and puffing with their hands in their
Yes.
pockets and only they have a voice and what
Right.
they say goes. And so
You
in
must be
meetings and
seen
stuff,
and not heard.
yes. So I made sure that my voice was heard and that when I spoke with authority, that I knew what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just not making a point for making a point's sake because I wanted my voice to be heard. I
Right.
made sure that I was knowledgeable, I was prepared, so that
Mm-hmm.
when I spoke, you will remember that I spoke.
Right. So the pressure was really, did you feel any kind of pressure, or was it really okay for you to go the extra mile to do the work, to put yourself in a position where you're respected for your knowledge and your gift that you're bringing to the table?
I put that pressure on myself.
Yeah.
I just knew that I wanted to be able to leave a mark. I wanted to be able to have a voice to speak up,
Mm-hmm.
especially on behalf of women, especially where women
Right.
were concerned. I didn't finish answering the first question. We segued into this, but
Mm-hmm.
when I left Jamaica behind. Now I'm going to the States now to school,
Mm-hmm.
and that is when everything just, I don't know, Paul, I just became this new person. I
Yes.
just opened up and I just realized that I was going to get this opportunity when I got back. But at that time when I went off, the children were most, had left school or, basically could handle themselves. So I was a very
Right.
mature student. Although I
Mm-hmm.
was a very mature student, I meant I was going to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
I went off for a second time. And it's when I came back that my partner by then was extremely, extremely supportive about me
Mm-hmm.
going to do the master's and still is extremely supportive,
That is
speaking about
amazing.
going to do my doctorate. No way, Jose, I'm not doing that. And
I
he
will
was still
I'll give you an opportunity to share a little bit about that a little
supportive.
later. But I
Okay.
really love the fact that you had the support and it wasn't like a tug of war.
Yeah,
Yes. So
so when I got back, he actually built on a whole studio for me to be able to work. And that's like, oh, my dream. But I have a whole
well, that's
space to work and
why
stuff like
that is the
that.
reason why I refer to him as your life partner and not your husband. Because your life partner supports your dreams, your visions, and your goals. You can walk through the rest of your life and with all the challenges, we're gonna go there in a little while.
Yes.
So because we're in this age of social media where everybody shows only the good stuff. What I want to ask you now is, what was your strategy for dealing with adversity? Because I am sure
Mhm.
along the way, maybe in every season of your life, you would have had something to deal with. And I would love for us to really go there. Let's talk about what that looks like when you
Yeah.
get to that point where you feel as though life is just against you.
I think that in the earlier years, I was the kind of person who would just like, oh, I don't think I had developed any skills or any strategies to deal with
Yes,
adversity. And I would
yes.
just like fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I cannot leave out, you speak about my life partner, because I would stress myself out over all sorts of things. And he is the one who taught me Stop stressing yourself out so much over things
Yeah.
over which you have no
No
control.
control.
And that
Yes.
is something that I had to learn, because I would not sleep. If I said I didn't sleep at all last night, and I tell him that in the morning, the first thing he will say, "What did you have on your mind?" Because
Hmm.
I'm the kind of person who goes, and I would lie down and I'm tossing and turning and thinking about this, and I should have done this, and I'm going to do that.
Yes,
So,
you live in your head. You have a big
so
party in your head.
yeah, but there are persons that you can turn to if you don't have a life partner. Most of us have a girlfriend or whatever, because you know what's very important?
Hmm.
I look at something and I'm just thinking like the worst, Paula. And
Hmm.
then I just had a girlfriend stop by, and I was telling her about the situation and how I'm thinking about it this way. And she just said, "Yes, but have you thought that? Oh my God." And, it's great to have two perspectives to everything, because
Exactly.
sometimes I might be thinking the worst about somebody or a situation. Oh, that person. But from the time you start looking at it from
A different
another perspective, it
Yeah.
just changed my whole mindset. Or it
Right.
just felt like if something was lifted off my shoulder.
Hmm.
And it just, that sister that was signed on there a while ago, she's always telling me, if you approach everything and every situation, just be kind. If you approach it like that, just be kind. So if I got up and I was thinking the worst of this person, and she meant to do this, and she meant to harm me, and she meant to work me, and then somebody else will say, "But have you ever thought that this person is not in a good place? That maybe she's hurting or something like that, and
Right.
maybe just reaching out and giving a call or something like that."
Right.
I
But
have
what I
learned to start looking at things like that in
right.
dealing with situations and
But
adversity.
also not cutting you,
Mm.
what I learned along the way too is, you see, the inner conversations, the conversation that you have with yourself in your thoughts, those are the
Yeah.
most dangerous, because you can create the most dramatic situation. You could create the most traumatic results in your head, and sometimes it does not even happen like that. But what I want to find out now is, what keeps you grounded? Where are you now in terms of navigating difficulty? Because when this
Mm.
stuff comes at you, I'm not even talking about when you have like a disagreement with a friend.
Yeah.
Just when you probably working towards accomplishing a particular goal, and you may meet a stumbling block,
Hmm.
right? How do you get out from under that stumbling block and just continue going so that you can accomplish your goal?
Okay, I think that you cannot be. I have developed, this is a strategy that I have used.
Mm-hmm.
Like this stumbling block comes in my way, and immediately, this is my immediate response. How I deal with things now, I give it time. I don't respond to things like right away. I need like a
Yes.
overnight, a next day
Mhm.
or something, to mull it over and to look at it from all different perspectives. And
Right.
it's not always the first thing that comes to your mind, which is going to be the best. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way I deal with major obstacles that are flung my way.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I like to just hear another person's perspective sometimes on something as well. And I think that's very important, having another, like a sounding block kind of person who you can just, "I was thinking so and so and so and so." And that is why I don't like to make rash decisions, or I don't like to make decisions hastily, because I think it's very important to look at it in a very holistic and a rounded kind of way. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we throw our emotions immediately into things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that can turn out, as you said, to be a disaster, because you
Yes.
can't think clearly when you're that emotional, when you're on this emotional high.
Right, right, right. So, as you know, we like to include our audience. We just had a comment from Sheila. She said sometimes things play themselves out without your action. Yeah. And then Nicole Christian has a question. Long distance relationships are often stigmatized and shunned. How did you navigate a long distance marriage while you were away pursuing your goals? And then she said, what lessons did a long distance relationship teach you? And were there any benefits?
Yes. Okay, let me start with the end part first. There
Mm-hmm.
are benefits because I think when you're away from the person is when you really have time to look and to look at the relationship and see
Mm-hmm.
what's positive about it, what's negative, and can I work on the negative when I get back. But usually you kind of go through the relationship with a fine tooth, and this person was well worth them waiting for. And of course, I was well
Mm-hmm.
worth waiting for as well.
Yes.
Just saying. Um, but
Yeah, but when you're walking with your life partner, you guys are committed to each other. Yay, nay, upside down, round, corner, round, everywhere. He ain't going
I
nowhere, you ain't going nowhere. That's how it is with your life partner. You guys
know
stick
some
together
people always
and
say,
you walk through the mud, you kick the stones out
yeah.
of the way, you break down the walls. That's how it is.
I always hear this about, oh, long distance relationships don't work and they don't work and they don't work. But it's funny, it was easier for us. And listen, in Jamaica, guess how I used to get to place a call to Antigua? I had to travel by bus, go downtown, go to Jamintel, you pay money, you go into a little box, you place a call, and back then, so it
Wow.
would be once on a weekend. Every weekend I would place a call. Okay?
Isn't that something? Because we didn't have the technology that
I
we have
don't
now.
know. And so in
Wow.
between there would be letters, and thank God we could afford it as often as possible. God bless Caribbean Airlines, when it was
Mm-hmm.
BWIA then. Because let's say there was a long weekend, I would be on the plane back to Antigua. Let's say it was
Right.
Easter, I would be on the plane back. So I was back and forth lots of times to Jamaica. So I kind of,
Okay.
got to spend some time with the children and,
Mm-hmm.
go back to school. So we kind of managed it that way. But
Mm-hmm.
going to Savannah, it was much better. Of course, we had more technology. You could call anytime you want to and things like that.
Right,
But
right, right.
what's the other part that Nicole asked?
Oh, she said, what lessons did a long distance relationship teach you?
I think it just helped to strengthen your resolve and help to strengthen the relationship, really, if you're
Mm-hmm.
really committed to each other. Sometimes when people complain about, oh, it's not working or whatever, it's because you're really not that seriously committed to the other person. So as
Exactly.
soon as it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing,
Yes, yes, yes,
that is
yes.
true. So what does that really say about the individual? Because you could be in the same country and the person is out somewhere. Does that mean that
Right,
I can't even trust you when you're not out of sight? So it can help to strengthen a relationship. But in other ways, I understand that some people, it just does not work out. But
right.
thank God,
Not everybody have the stamina.
yeah, to go and
Yes,
not
yes.
only that, you have to also realize that we weren't just like dating. We were married and we had two
Right.
children.
Yeah.
So
And I
my
also
intention was
think
to make it work.
Right. And I also think too is like when you have a vision, because I'm gonna come there in a little while, right? When you have a vision about, maybe I should probably just go here as we already here. But my thing, my question is, how did you know that you were marrying the right person? Because one of the things I've been investigating, anytime I meet
Mhm.
someone who have been married for a long time, how long were you? How long are you married?
Let's say 40 something years.
All right, great. 40 something years. I actually sat on a flight next to a mature couple who've been married for 60 years. My landlord, him and his wife, they've been married for 50 something years. My parents also in the 50 somethings. And all the questions, every time I ask someone a question, um, what does it really take to be married to somebody for so long? And my question to you is that, as well as how did you know that he was the right person?
I Okay, I cannot say that I knew that from the
You didn't
get-go.
know that from the get go.
No, this was something that developed over time. This
Mm-hmm.
was something. Okay, let's just look at it this way. I understand that some people like would just be engaged for like 3 months and those kind of things. I don't subscribe to that at all, because I think you really have to get to know the individual.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a list the other day, and it was pretty comprehensive about questions that some of us should really be asking our partners,
Mm-hmm.
and not like discovering all these things after you're married about them, that I really hate this, I don't like this, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I knew him. We had been together, for a number of years,
Right.
and I think we sort of had the very same kind of vision, the same perspective,
Mm-hmm.
of the trajectory of which we'd like to see our life go, working hard, enjoying a good life, raising our children, and giving them all that we had, educating them and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think that a lot of it came out after I was in the marriage, that
Okay.
you knew this was somebody who was worth holding on to,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody who I would invest in, and somebody who I would trust
You see that
implicitly.
word? Not cutting, you see that word invest? I think that is so very important in terms of committing to a relationship, because a lot of times, from observation and conversations with some of my friends, you meet a guy who may not be in his, because all of us are never at our final destination. We're
Mhm.
all growing. And I think it's important for us to develop that vision, to know where that person is now and know that that's not their final destination. And I think it cut both ways. Would you say that?
Yes, yes, certainly does. Uh,
Yes.
so yeah, what's the second part? You asked me something else.
In
Did I
terms of
know?
like, what is the key strategy? What is the strategy that you guys have that sustains your relationship for the length of time that you've been married?
Mhm. I think one of the most important things is that we give each other space.
Mm-hmm.
We give each other space. Like, he doesn't like everything that I like. He doesn't like everywhere that I go. I don't like everything that he likes and things like that. So we give
Mm-hmm.
each other that kind of space.
Right.
I know in some relationships, I don't know where this comes from, that persons are very clingy and about, if
Yeah.
you are going there, I am coming there too, and all this kind of thing. I think it's important. Yes, you're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, you have a partner, but you can have a variety of interests different to your partners as well, and I
Right.
think that helps to make it gel even more, because you don't feel like if you're being smothered, you don't
Right.
feel like
Right.
if
Right.
you're claustrophobic in the marriage or the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and that type of possessiveness can destroy a lot of relationships of
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
can't have some girlfriends. I can't go off with some girlfriends. Like, I'm invited out with my, oh, where are you going? And
Yes.
that kind of
It's
thing.
only people who are immature have those kinds of situations to deal
Mhm.
with. And what I also want to share from my discovery, or I should say from my little private investigations that I would do, because the couple who I met on the plane, when I asked her what is the key to staying married for so long to the same person, because at that point it's like in my head, I can't even, because I think because of all the things that you've been hearing, oh,
Yes.
you get bored, you this, that, that. And she said something to me that was very profound. She said, we actually really do enjoy each other's company. We love being together, we love spending time together. And they're both missionaries. And this, she said, we have a rule of thumb: any invitation that is going to keep them apart for more than a week, they don't accept it.
Ah.
Yes, and then this is a female's point of view, and then a male's point of view. Now he is like in his 70s. They've been married in the 50 somethings, and he said, which made me conclude. I mean, this is me ad libbing. He said, when you're going to choose your partner plays such a significant role in how successful you're going to be in your career, in your own personal self, and you really do have to find someone or choose someone who you're going to enjoy life with. And that made me come to the conclusion that there's a difference between having a
Mhm.
husband and having
Yeah,
a life partner. And I
that's
was,
very true. That's
yes,
very true. What you're saying there, Paula. Very, very
yes.
true.
And I mean, I'm not married, but it's not something that I scratch off the thing. It is like, some women have that whole thing is like a goal to accomplish. I don't see it as a goal to accomplish because if I did, I would have been married already.
Mhm.
But I understand how important my future is. So I cannot just attach myself to just any guy who say, "Hey, I like you. I think you're cute. I think you'd make a good wife." No, my
Mhm.
vision is to have a life partner, somebody who understands me and my goals and my dreams. I would just as how you
Yeah.
have it. I mean, I know every individual is different, and our situation would not be. But the bottom line, the baseline is having a partner who understands your vision. You being with somebody who you understand their vision, and you guys could
Mhm.
come together and support each other along the way. And so you're growing and I am growing.
Yeah.
Is that how it is in a nutshell?
I totally agree with that part about being friends because I always saw that as an ingredient in it, that we
Hmm.
were friends before we became partners.
Yes, yes, yes.
And you're talking about friends who share, like we would crack up at the very same things, we would notice the very same things at the same time, and
Hmm.
that's just enjoying the other person's company.
Yes,
I think sometimes, like a couple that you remember, I spoke about growing up, how I used to see these people driving past in the car, step and start, and nobody
everybody's
even
stiff.
talking. And I'm
Yeah,
talking about now a couple who, if you see them out, there is no conversation going on at the table. They're out for dinner, Paula, and there's no conversation going at the table. Whereas in my case, it's just constant conversation, chatting, jokes, laughter, because we enjoy being in each, and we're so accustomed to each other that we would see the same thing at the same time. And
yes.
it was
That's
just being comfortable, being very comfortable with the other person.
That's a great connection. So I want to stay on relationship for a little bit again before we move on, and I want to ask you about how important is intimacy and sex. Because here's the thing, we have this concept in our head. I don't know where we got it from. That after you've been married for over some people 10 years, some people 5, some people 15 or 20, that all of a sudden you don't have sex anymore, there's no connection. And then the other thing is, I want you to dispel the whole concept that sex is out the door after a certain age. Let's dispel that myth.
Okay. It has to be, I don't know where we got that from,
Yeah.
Paula.
Sex
I
and
think it
aging
has
is not the
something.
same thing.
I think it has something to do. I'm going to tell you from what I observed coming up as a young girl. Like it just appeared to me that once let's say my mom reached like in her 40s, that there was no more intimacy going on. And then you saw this pattern of when the woman got to that age, and maybe she's just like pre-menopause or menopausal, that the
Uh-huh.
man just starts scampering off in this other direction. Like maybe he just can't deal. I don't know what it is, but I'm saying, but there's something wrong with this picture. This just cannot be.
Yes. So I'm happy that you say it like that because it's not just me in my head. I mean, well, not that I'm talking my parents' business, but guess what? They could just finish fighting and 2 seconds later they lock up in the room. But anywho, I know that no, I noticed. I also have noticed it that after a certain age, it's like the women and the men they're no longer together in the same space. I grew up thinking that after you've been married for certain age, after you get a particular age, when you get to your 40s or your 50s, all of a sudden you're old and you're not sexual anymore. Please dispel that myth for
Yeah.
us.
Well, I decided that wasn't going to be me because
I
because I'm
love it.
wondering, because as I said, you kind of have to. sometimes we have to forge these paths and understand these things for ourselves, and can't just really rely on what we saw growing up, or what we're taught, or what
Mhm.
our perception was. But I'm just saying there's nothing absolutely wrong with me, with my body, with the thoughts that go into my head. Yeah, I can look at a good
And
hunk
you,
coming up the road too. Yes.
yes, yes. And I
Yes,
mean, you still feel sexy, right?
well, that is what. So what? I'm not dead. And listen, when you put on your clothes and you dress up and you go out, you're feeling this thing inside. You feel like you're still a sexual human being. You're still a
Yes,
sexual creature. And you still get like you blush a little bit when somebody gives you a compliment, or somebody starts flirting with you or something like that. And I
right,
don't understand what is it that something shuts off and some, no, it does not shut off. I
right.
have been watching some documentaries and other things on television. I saw
Hmm.
a lady in her 80s who puts on her little mini skirts and stuff,
Yes, I
and
saw that.
she is with these young guys,
And
and these
young
young guys
guys, yes, I saw that documentary.
in their 30s and stuff like that, and she's enjoying her sex. So
Yes. So
I
my other,
women, we women need to stop this nonsense about, oh, I am
exactly.
old now and whatever.
Yes,
Okay, I will be old when I'm put down in the grave and I start to
exactly.
decay. That's when I will be old.
Yes, exactly. So what I
So
want to,
intimacy for and we keep on saying that. You would see an elderly couple, and the way he's holding her tenderly, he's giving her a little kiss. Why do the men think that we still don't need that kind of intimacy, no matter what age we are? And women, you too. Give, if it's his
yes,
birthday, wake up in the morning and night, give him a little hug, a little kiss. That goes a long, long
yes, it does.
way.
And Heather, stick a pin. And one of the things that I noted about a couple when we landed in Jamaica, right? She was sitting in the middle, and the gentleman is at the end. I'm the window, and
Mm.
he came out, and the way how he cared for her, and he referred to her as Mama, and oh, Mama wrote this book, and they autographed the book for me, and the way we held her, and it's like, oh my God, wow! It left me blushing, and it left this. I mean, this was such a long time ago, and they were well
Yeah.
into the 70s, and it just left such a lasting impression on my soul that I realized that, you could, even though you've been married for 60 years, or once
Mhm.
you're with the right partner, you can
Mhm.
definitely have something sustainable.
Yeah.
And what I would like to ask you to, let's touch a little bit on this, because of how I still have a few more things I want to pop in before the time out. How important is for us as women to really connect to our sexuality, so we could actually guide our partners as to what our needs are.
Woo! Paula, that should be a show in itself. That
Yeah.
needs
So
to
I
be
don't
a
know if you could
show.
if you could pull something together in 60 seconds.
Paula, this is the other thing. Like how we were socialized, that sex was just for the guys, and
Yes.
sex was just for having children. And so you got into, you finished doing all this housework, you're going to the bed in a most unsexy nighty, by the way, and you
Hmm.
lie down, and this thing happened between you two, and you turned over, and that was it. And then I'm just saying. So how is it that we were socialized like that? That us women, that sex wasn't for our enjoyment. Why
Hmm.
is that? Well, what is that, and why does that still exist today and persist today? And it is very important. That's the other thing we won't speak of. Paula, I had a message here about. You see, we started off and talked about me finding my voice.
Hmm.
The other thing I want to tell women is that we need to speak up
Oh,
more.
yes.
Listen, in relationships, there's so many things that happen simply because you had something in your head
Hmm.
and you haven't told your partner about this thing.
Right.
Maybe you don't enjoy a particular position or something like that. You
Hmm.
just want, he's just supposed to through some kind of telepathy or something. Or
Yes, yes. We
maybe you
expect our
like it
minds
this
to be
way.
read.
Maybe you like this way. Have you communicated that to him? This is the
No.
spot I like when you kiss. I like when you kiss here. I like when you run your finger down my back. I like when you
Yes.
do. Women, you need to
How
start.
important it is to be gentle with that process too, because
Oh, oh,
men egos are very thin, and I mean it's a very sensitive.
you do it, you don't just get up and say, listen, I like that or whatever. When you're in the heat of the moment and you whatever you say, you know what I like, you have to find the right moment and you have to be
Yes,
gentle with it and you have to find the right way. And the same way with the men. They can also
yes,
say, I like when you do that, or like when you don't do that, or you like you're not doing that, or whatever. And
right.
but we don't speak up, Paula. And then we are there like
Alice in Wonderland. Screw.
punch up old lady. What did somebody say? This lady, she just always just gruntled and
Yes,
I hear somebody say that what happened to her, she did a couple good orgasms. That's for
exactly.
her.
You probably heard me say that. Because I always believe that if women have more orgasms, they would not be so damn grumpy. They would be kinder, they would be more happy and everything else. We see
Yeah,
more smiling faces.
we need more conversations like this because we talking among ourselves, but how can we get the men in the room so we can explain this to them as well? And I know
Exactly.
some of them are willing to learn and some of them are willing to change.
Yes,
Um, so sometimes you have a couple in a relationship for many years. I don't even know what's his favorite thing. What does he like? What because there's no communication going on, and we
yeah,
have to change that dynamic. We have to change that because
exactly.
it could be so much more enjoyable. You could enjoy it so much more if you had more of a conversation about it. But why don't
Hmm.
we? What's holding us back from being like that?
Yes, because
And you
of
have to be more
how,
self-confident as well. You have to be, oh, I gotta tell you one of the reasons. Something I've always thought about is how self-conscious some of us feel about our bodies. And of course,
yes,
social media is not helping any. Paula, the minute you are self confident, I don't care if you're 300 pounds, I don't
exactly.
care if you're 100. From the
Hmm.
time you build up that self confidence, you are going to see a change, not only in your relationship with those around you and with yourself,
With
but
yourself,
with your
definitely.
partner
Yes.
because you have no inhibitions when it comes in the bedroom and having sex and having intimacy. There'll be no inhibitions whatsoever because you are self confident. Listen, it's time for us to stop being so hung up on not having the Kim Kardashian
Body. Yes,
surgically
yes. It's
improved bodies.
yes, it's a thing that women have to unlearn, just like everything else, because we were socialized to not have enjoy sex. Because if you enjoy sex, it means you're a hoe, right? And
Oh, you said it.
yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is in a nutshell. If you're not in, if you're enjoying sex, if you have more
I
than one partner,
remember hearing that. I
yes,
remember hearing that coming up. And I
yes,
started thinking about it and I'm saying, why are they calling her a hoe? So are you trying to tell me that the first guy that you go with, he's going to be your partner for life, whether it works or doesn't work out? So this young lady over here now, who is dating one guy, she really nothing, another guy, why are you referring to her as a whore?
as a
And
whore.
where does that come from? The fact that she has more than one partner, or the fact that she looks so happy because she's enjoying the sex?
Exactly. But you know what I read recently, or was it a documentary I was looking at? And the gentleman was it was a guy who was talking. He said, "What happened from back then to now?" Because he said there was an era when women were the one who chose their partners. They had many suitors. They will go on dates with many with four different guys, and then they choose which one they decided they want to spend the rest of their lives with. The best suit to win. You
Well,
know, but what happened now?
there was an era there that I knew the first person that you dated, you better know that's the person you're going to marry.
Whether you're in love with the person or not.
Oh, okay.
Anywho, because we know this is a conversation that we could have alone and not talk about anything else, but I want to ask you one other thing, and this is about menopause. What have you discovered about menopause that you would want to share with other women? As well as, I hear about this hot flash business. Is there any
Okay.
medication, anything that you have discovered, any type of food that you could eat to ease that shit up?
Yeah. So funny. I just had that conversation with a girlfriend yesterday afternoon, and she was telling me all that she was going through. Well, my dear Paula, I cannot share too much of that information with you. I do get some mini hot flashes, but guess what? I was saved the drama. Why? Because I had a hysterectomy and
Ah,
I chose not to remove my ovaries.
okay, okay, okay.
So that means I did not go into this drastic menopause where I was going to experience everything full blast. It was
Right.
just like a nice easing into it.
Right.
So the
But
most that I had would be like sleeplessness,
mm-hmm.
not being able to sleep at all, at all, at all, at all, at all, and
Insomnia.
you have to get
Uh-huh.
some little thing to assist you. By the way, women get really terrified about that. Oh, I didn't sleep at all. I said, sometimes just get up, watch TV, do whatever, because
Yeah.
it's part of the whole menopause situation. And the other
Mm-hmm.
thing, I would be sitting here and I would just feel like if somebody took either a hot poker or a lighter or something and
Mm-hmm.
just came very close to the back of my neck. And
Mm-hmm.
then the heat would just come up the back of the neck and just engulf the whole head. So I didn't really experience what I'm seeing some other ladies go through, where they just have water running off of them profusely. So at
Mm-hmm.
some stage, some of them don't even bother to put on makeup because it's just like buckets of sweat running down. I didn't really experience that. I just had like the sleeplessness, I would say, and every
Mm-hmm.
now and again, like a hot flash.
And now, question, is that the reason why you're rocking a bald head? The hot flash.
Listen,
What's the story with the
anybody who
bald
knows
head?
me know that I just like to switch things
That
up.
is
I
so
don't
liberating, though.
listen. I don't like one thing for too long at all. And everybody knows. Yes, I used to have long hair, and after a while, you know what really got me pissed is like having to go to the hairdresser. I just felt like
Oh
I
my
was spending
gosh.
3 hours, three
Wasted
wasted
so much
hours,
time.
and 1 hour under the dryer on. And I said, no, this is enough. This is enough. So I cut it off short. And then it should
Uh-huh.
be one color, red, blue, orange, all sorts of colors. And now I'm at this stage. I don't know. Every time I get a little fuzz on, I shave it off. A little fuzz, I shave it off. So I don't know if
It is
anybody will see me with hair again, but
super sexy. It is so freaking sexy. I have a darky friend who rocks a bald head too. And but hers is not completely bald. She has a little bit
mm,
of hair on there
yeah.
and she will blonde it from time to
I'm
time.
so
So
liberated. Oh my God. It's
it is
so
liberating. I've been there
liberating.
before a couple of times where I shaved my hair off as well. So I know exactly what you guys are experiencing. And I
Mhm.
sometimes envy you because my locks is so long. When I if I choose to wet it, I have to go through this whole thing and getting it dry and all
Yes.
that
No,
stuff.
that will deter me. No, 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 no,
Yes,
no, no.
yes, yes. So guess what? As you know how time flies, but I want to go back to you, and then I have a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you just to finish the sentences.
Mhm.
And the question that I want to find out: at what age did you feel you're most confident holistically?
I would say I was probably in my 40s
Mm-hmm.
and like 40s into 50s, but like
Right.
60 was like the whipped cream on top, the everything, the
Ah,
candles, the
see,
fireworks, the everything on top.
so you
Just
have me looking forward to being 60 now, huh?
no, I
Because
passed 60. You have to look forward to that.
yes,
Yeah.
because I'm now just
I
turned
think it's
50.
like you, 60, like nothing is bothering me. What else is there? I've lived a full life. I've enjoyed it, watched, I've traveled, I've done everything. This is just like the whipped cream and the icing and everything on the cake
Mhm.
going forward.
Right. So, what is one of the limiting beliefs that you had to kind of like shatter to really embrace your true authentic self?
So many things that I just mentioned. Something about like what the way women should be. and you
Mm-hmm.
know how limiting that whole socialization was.
Right.
But I had to just break through that ceiling, break out of that.
What
And what
was, if
one
you
of
could
the
identify one particular thing that has held you captive for a very long time, what would
uh, the FEAR.
okay, I got you.
To think about because of the socialization and the background and everything. Like it's almost like if you felt you couldn't do it unless maybe you had a partner, you can't do it because you just don't have the strength, you just don't have the courage. Anybody who reads my bio and stuff like that, a
Hmm.
couple of things that I've written for my art exhibitions and stuff like that. I would say something like, I would not ever again in my lifetime would fear ever hold me back from doing something. So
Yeah.
I'm basically like a daredevil now because I found that in my younger years because we were raised up all this kind of sheltered kind of way.
Hmm.
Um, I just didn't have the courage to step out on my own, the courage to do a lot of things. Like I would say no. Why? Just
Yes.
because of fear. So
Yes. So
that was
now
very
you're a
limiting.
radical.
Yes,
You're
it was
facing
almost
everything and you're
debilitating.
rising. You're
No more.
facing everything and rising. Yeah. So
No
I
more
know.
is fear going to prevent me from doing anything. By the way, I said when I was 60, I was going on the a helicopter ride. I still have that to do. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yes, yes, yes. So I want to ask you one quick question about parenting.
Mhm,
Give us a gem
mhm,
on the difference between parenting young children and
mhm.
parenting adults. What is the one key lesson that we could take away from you, from your experience?
Okay, for I'm going to talk about the adults. Is that I have done the work with
Mm-hmm.
them younger. I have done the work. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, my role right now is just a support,
Uh-huh.
support
Yes.
system, and reinforcement. They
Right.
call me when they have a problem and sometimes they don't even want me to give them a solution. They just want to offload.
Right, right, right,
And then
right.
they say, I feel so much better after speaking to you. Yeah, my
That
role
is
is so much
awesome.
different because I think when they are younger, you are there now instilling all the values that you would like to see in a confident and successful young woman. And
Mm-hmm.
now that they are women with their own children. And Paula, I must say, I'm very proud,
Mm-hmm.
especially with my daughter who has a daughter.
Aha.
I couldn't be any prouder of how the work that she has put in to make that granddaughter of mine being one of the most confident, self assured young ladies that I've ever come across.
Right.
So when I look at her, I see that I was successful in bringing up that particular daughter. The
Right.
other daughter has a son.
Mm.
He's still very young. He's not with me. He lives in Toronto, but you know, I will do my best as well to make
Right.
sure that he comes out with that same kind of self confidence. And this is something that I always want to talk to women about. We have a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to, I'm talking about women. Young men, I'm not leaving you out. But I just
Yes.
have this mission and this passion for young women that
Mm-hmm.
you have to make them be self confident and self assured.
Exactly. Yes.
She went in this workplace the other day, and I talked with her, and she was saying, "Oh, so and so and so." I said, "You go in and you ask for a meeting with the manager or whoever. I want to instill not just you just cowering in a corner and you're not speaking up for what you think is right or whatever." And I can
Yes.
see that she's on the right path. So,
Right.
as an adult, you are there really as the sounding block when they need to cry, they need to speak. And if they have a problem, just as I sometimes need a listening ear, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm also that listening ear for them when they have a problem.
Right. So, in a nutshell, is the foundation when they're children is to instill good values, make sure that you instill the whole idea of being self confident. And then, as a mother and as a woman, you have to do the work so that you can
Mm.
raise healthy children, and your hurt is not passed on to the children. So,
And
um,
one thing I want to mention where that is concerned, I made a note of that. I don't know why I thought that you were going to ask me something about rearing children or something.
we're connected.
Something, yes, something that I see missing a lot, Paula,
Mm-hmm.
is the intimacy between parents and
Parents.
children.
Yes.
Paula, there are many young men in prison and gone astray. And if you listen to them, and young women too, oh, my mother never loved me. I never felt any love when I was younger. We are losing out. What is it that we don't touch? What is it that we don't hug our son, our
Yes.
daughter? When
Yes.
they
Yes.
do
Yes.
good, when they achieve something, when they like pass their CXCs, you hug them, you give them like something to look forward to, a treat or something. We're not doing
Mhm.
enough of that. There are lots of
Right.
kids who then are reaching out to the opposite sex and to all kind of situations to find that love
That
and that
level. Yes.
intimacy
Yes.
which
Yes.
they are
Yes.
not getting from their parents. And that's a whole other topic that needs to be discussed.
I know that's exactly it. So, in about 60 seconds, what can you tell us about your lessons learned from the 2021 pandemic situation that everybody had to go through?
Woo.
What is like one lesson that you could share that is, when it's like a legacy that you're leaving right now?
Okay. It it was very traumatic for me, I must tell you, Paul. I think what is going to come out and what is I'm seeing coming out of this is us paying more attention to our mental health.
Hell, yes.
And I think you need a show on this. Paul,
Yes,
it's the first
definitely.
time I felt like if what real depression felt like. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like doing anything. I didn't feel I was worried all the time. I was anxious
Hmm.
because I'm there saying this was something so novel, so new, so widespread worldwide. And
Hmm.
there was nobody was giving us any hope of how we're
Yeah.
going to, when it's going, okay, for everything. If we have a hurricane, Paul, we go through it, I prepare for it. And then afterwards, you can go and clean up. But I just wasn't seeing any
The
cleanup
light at
in
the end of the
sight where
tunnel
this
for
thing
this. Yeah.
was concerned. And
Okay.
luckily for me, I didn't have to reach as far as going to a counselor,
Hmm.
because my dear sister, the one who's listening, she
Hmm.
is the one who told me, and this can be a legacy and a lesson for all of us. You need to shut down social media. So I had
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. Shut down social media, lock off WhatsApp, everything.
I
That's
had
what
to
I
do
did.
that because every morning I woke up, I'll be going to see what's the latest. And then some of the things that
Mhm.
were coming out was propaganda, right? So it just
Yes.
made me even more anxious. So
Yes, so you
no,
gotta
I
shut it
mean,
off. Shut it off. Shut
yeah,
it off.
we have to
So we
come off
know
that
that we kind of
social.
like almost out of time, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we don't have, I mean, we could talk here forever, but I'm gonna ask you. I have these 5 questions that I want you to finish the sentence.
Okay.
And the first one is, I love love because.
I love love because it makes me a whole human being.
Oh my God, I love that. And my next one is, my most profound takeaway from my marriage to my partner is.
Uh, Appreciation, support, and understanding.
Nice. And I love me because.
I'm just awesome.
I love that. That's my favorite word. I love to use that word, awesome. And being a mom and a glamour has taught me what? You hear them say
That
grandma,
no
I say
matter,
glamour.
it has taught me that age is just a number.
Yeah.
No matter how old you are, you can enjoy life, you can go out, you can just have a great old time and appreciation for life itself.
Yes. And this one, you're gonna crack the hell up of this one. I would not trade my life for Oprah Winfrey's life because
I don't think money is everything. I
uh-huh.
think happiness is more important than money. I've always said I would not like to, I never dreamt that I wanted to be a millionaire because I think I can be very happy with just enough money to get by. So I wouldn't trade my place with Oprah's for anything.
And that's because you're contented with what you have and how your life
I
is
am
and
not wealthy. I'm not a wealthy woman, but I
as
have
yet.
found the way that I can appreciate and enjoy a full, full life.
Yes. But wealth is a mindset, you know. You don't necessarily have to have millions in your bank account to be wealthy. So it's a mindset, but it can also you can also attract the financial wealth too, because money just buys us better memories. That's just the way it
Yes,
is. And
yes.
my final question for this evening is, what are you most grateful for?
I am most grateful for the life that I have lived and the persons that I have met and the lives that I have impacted along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and my contribution towards my country
Mm-hmm.
and the development of and empowerment of our women.
That is so amazing. And Heather, on that note, I really want to say how much I appreciate you setting aside your busy evening for me and for my audience. And I really hope that, you guys, I know you don't like to interact much, but I would love if you can leave a little bit, one sentence, one little takeaway from Heather's from our conversation. And I want you to have the most amazing rest of the night. I thank you guys because you know what I always say. You could be doing anything on this Wednesday evening, and you chose to
Something is
take.
happening. Something is going wrong now. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, you're frozen, but you're gonna be all right. So what I'm going to do is, I would just want to say I appreciate that you shared your most valuable asset with us, which is your time, because you could get back $1,000, but this time you can't. But guess what? I love about this the most. This is a legacy because this is gonna be around for a very long time and way into the future, way after we're not on this planet anymore. So I'm grateful that we're contributing something very positive to humanity and the future of the planet. So on that note, I think Heather is she is probably her internet must be dropped out, but I'm going to leave you with my favorite song. I want you to really enjoy this piece of music. It's from what their beautiful chorus, and it is just absolutely the most soothing piece of music I've heard. What I want you to do is, let me put it in the thing so that you can hear it. Yes, so I am getting ready to sign out. So I'm leaving you with this piece of music. Let me just check back because Heather's back. I'm going to check in with her to see if she has any final thoughts for us. So let me
I
pause
got cut off.
this. All right.
I'm so sorry. I got cut off, Paula.
I realize that. So what I want you to do
Mhm.
is if you have any final thoughts before we go, I'm gonna leave us with this piece of music. Hey Queen. It's
Mhm.
from
I just want to
beautiful.
say, I want to thank you very much for having me, Paula. I am always so ready and willing to share my experience and just to give encouragement to fellow women in the country, a region, and worldwide. And I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate everybody who signed into the show. Denise, I see you. Thanks,
Yes,
Sheila.
Denise is
And
always
just
here.
leave us a comment, see if there's any gems, as Paula said, that you took away, or maybe you have some suggestions on the ways which we can help and support each other. I love you all. Thank you, Paula. I
I
love
love you
you.
too. Blessings. Bye bye. You take care. So I'm going to let this run, you guys, and have the most amazing rest of the week. And remember that you are super awesome. All right. You are not alone. Hey, queen. You can have whatever you dream. Hey, queen. Listen to your